All right, let's get right into the plot summary of Akira.
Yeah, we're right back from our Neo Tokyo tater tot
That's
capsules.
right.
So hopefully we can stay conscious at this point because we've eaten now. Um, yeah, the plot of Akira. It's kind of one of those movies that where you have to get into this elaborate backstory that they put in to things that usually are depicted in like one little scene.
Right.
And that elaborate backstory is that in the past there's this boy named Akira. And they've been doing secret government experiments on ESP, and he develops like godlike psionic abilities like telepathy, telekinesis, clairvoyance, pyrokinesis, all those things that kind of go into those categories of people that have mind powers.
Psychic abilities.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
whatever those mean.
They lose, or he loses control, causes an explosion that's supposed to take place in the world in 1988, and destroys Tokyo. And then he is detained, examined. They can't really figure him out. They dissect him and they freeze him. That's kind of the whole backstory of who the titular character is.
And they freeze him with the hopes that future generations might be able to figure it out.
Yeah, basically it's like we don't know what's up with this dude, so let's just cut him up and freeze him. But in this whole world, that blast is mistaken by the rest of the world as some kind of new weapon, and everybody retaliates.
Kicks off World War III.
You get U.S., Germany, France, Soviet Union, Poland, Japan, India, UK. Basically, everybody that had nukes all launched them at each other, and that's just the background into that opening little scene where you see Tokyo sitting there, and then you see like this bubble come up, and it just blows it up. And
I'm assuming that whole thing about all the nations firing nukes at each other. Where'd you get that information?
I got it online. I'm assuming it has to come out of the manga.
That was my assumption as well. Because
Um,
that was one of the questions in the beginning of the film. It's like, okay, World War III, what's that have to do with that explosion? Now,
my assumption was the first time I saw this
right,
is that because I knew that they were doing the government experiment thing and all that, I thought somebody nuked Tokyo to stop them.
right, and that's kind of the way they seem to set it up. Was they want you to think that the explosion that you see was a nuke,
Yeah,
set off in Tokyo.
but no, it's
No,
Akira.
it's Akira.
Akira just and blowing up. Then it comes all the way to the way far future of
2019.
2019. You know you're old when all the futuristic movies were what 6 years ago, so
Right.
almost 7, and to reconstructed Neo Tokyo.
And one of the things about having movies take place in the future and you being beyond that future is you look at that future that they've designed. I'm thinking explicitly of like Back to the Future 2.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, that would have been kind of cool.
Yeah,
We don't have any of those things, and
Yeah.
Kaneda's bike is definitely. Oh man, we don't have motorcycles that cool.
yeah. We're probably pretty
some
close.
we got some
Probably close to
e-bikes.
it on bikes. They're all customs, I guess.
Right. I do like, and I don't know if you'll talk about this, but that there's that one line where Tetsuo's like computer assisted anti-lock brakes. It's like that. Okay, that was, I guess, back in 1988. That was like an impressive
I
thing.
think we hit that probably in like 92.
Yeah.
But the world of 2019 is motorcycle gangs, domestic terrorists / protesters. You can say they're different people. I think it's pretty much the same group of people.
Yeah.
There's a military wing of the government and a super executive council that kind of controls Japan. The military wants control, and so it's kind of the same sort of power struggle.
Yeah.
In a corrupt government.
Now
and
the
council is trying to use the terrorists to get Akira, because I don't know that if anybody really fully understands that Akira is in little tubes. I think they think he's actually like a frozen entity underneath the city.
Well, the revolutionaries. There's also, I don't know, are the revolutionaries the religious sect, or they're two different groups?
There's
right?
a religious sect too of like sort
they
of
like worship Akira.
Zealots.
We really don't know much, at least from again, a lot of this stuff is probably delved deeper into the manga, because the manga is like 2,000 pages.
Yeah.
But like we don't really know like how these people know about Akira, or what they think Akira actually is. All we know is there's a religious group that sees Akira as some sort of god,
Yeah, they've got.
and they get in the
We had
way.
we
That's
had
kind
that
of
one. We had that one big picture of the guy that has like the big do
yeah,
and like the little like John Lennon glasses. He's
yeah.
sort of like the leader of
He's like
these
the priest.
of the zealots. I think it's probably the best word for them. But
Now, we're going to get into it. The the power struggle between the revolutionaries and the government. Is it just the revolutionaries think the government is overreaching or is being too restrictive? Like what?
well, the specific terrorists that you get the main characters from, where you're getting into K
Well,
and
the terrorist with K and Bu, is that how you pronounce his name?
Bu
The man with the
uh
mustache,
Ryu.
Ryu. Is
Yeah,
that okay? I thought K was saying Bu. Bu is Ryu. Okay,
yeah.
so K and Ryu, they're a part of a group
They're
that
trying to
is trying to liberate the children,
yeah, yeah.
right? But there's also another group that's just like
There's
just
just
straight
people that are
terrorists,
just
just blowing stuff up.
protesters that protest.
Yeah,
Can't imagine a world where that happens.
right. And that's my
Or
question right now is
with
like, do we know what they're protesting, or is it just unrest? They're
yeah,
causing unrest.
it's the ones that
Okay.
when something happens, they're like, let's go get some.
No,
Dad needs
that's so unrealistic.
new sneakers and a new TV. Dang you, government! Hasn't happened at all here.
So the
Um,
movie opens.
the it kind of opens with there's a fight between the gangs, the capsules, that's our tater tots, which
Yep.
is um
That's a good name for a gang too. The tater tots.
that'd be my gang.
The tater tots.
But Kaneda is the one you see here in
Mhm.
the picture. I'm sure everybody sees that and thinks that's Akira. It's like no, that's
Right.
Kaneda.
Right.
They're fighting the clowns, which is very much oh my goodness, I should have looked this up. The Warriors, you know the old movie.
Mhm.
But it very similar to like that,
Yeah.
where you had all these like gangs that dressed up as themes.
Yeah, and the Warriors was like late 70s or something.
Yeah.
So do you know if there was any inspiration there?
It wasn't mentioned,
I wouldn't
but
be
it's gotta
surprised.
be.
It's
'Cause
got to be.
you
Yeah.
got like a debate. You got the baseball players and the Warriors that have like
Yeah.
their face painted and all that stuff, and but they're fighting, racing all over town. It's just it's pretty lawless in
Mhm.
this Tokyo. In the course of that, they run into who we'll find out his name shortly after that is Takashi 26, or he's number 26.
Right. He's
And
the first little kid you see.
he's one of the three espers, and the espers are Takisha. All these guys are numbered. Kyoko, which is the girl, and she's number 25. And then there's Masaru. He's number 27. He's the one in the chair. Looks like little baby Donald Trump.
Yeah. Yeah.
But those are the three espers that are kind of the main part of the story. Runs into Takashi, and somehow or another through that contact, and I think there's more explanation to that in the book probably. Tetsuo, who's part of the capsule gang, it awakens like his psychic abilities.
That when Takashi's out and gets cornered by the cops, and the guy that's trying to steal him essentially gets shot by the cops, and like all the blood spatter and everything.
Yeah.
I remember when I first saw this, I was like, okay, this is different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's not like he doesn't just get shot. He gets like shot, and he's like
torn apart.
He's still kind of protect the kid, and then like the police just like. I watch a lot of shootings still on from footage and things. I see sometimes where you get like something that goes really south, like an armed robbery, and you end up with like 20 or 30 officers in a pursuit and a conflict with trying to catch these guys, and that's literally what it turns into sometimes, where one shot goes off and then everybody's shooting, and that's basically what happens to this dude. He gets shredded by like.
Now, because of that, Takashi kind of freaks out a little bit and creates like a psychic like explosion sort of that destroys the surfaces and like the windows of the surrounding buildings. And while that's happening and people are like freaking out because of this, because they're protesters and everywhere, he disappears. You and this is where you start to see the kind of powers that they have.
It's probably that little burst of energy is what triggers whatever happens in Tetsuo.
Okay.
It's always been my assumption anyway.
Yeah.
The army takes him, Tetsuo, and they immediately I guess they scan him or something. I don't don't remember the why part of that, but they see that he's like off the charts.
I think pretty much what they were doing at first the idea was like, well, let's make sure he's okay
Yeah.
because he got hurt from our experiment, hurt him.
Yeah.
Well, one, let's see if he's okay, and also, what is the effect of a human coming in contact with this guy?
Yeah.
That
And
sort of thing.
For some reason, and again, I think this kind of comes from the manga, that you find out. I think that's where it's at. I don't think they say it at all in the movie. That Tetsuo, the kind of mousy guy, part of the capsule gang, that his granddad was part of the original Akira experiment.
Okay, that
And
that that answers a question I was going to pose. I was going to say, well, is there
that's not
anything that's
revealed.
special about Tetsuo himself, or could have this literally happened to literally anyone
I don't
else?
remember that like there's anything that explains like why. And
Okay, that kind of.
but I think it's probably in the book, and it's one of those things that
Yeah.
probably should have included.
Well, when Takashi disappears and he like reappears just on the highway, if if there's something inside Tetsuo that was a part of the program, I could see Takashi like manifesting near him because he senses that there's some sort of like safety in Tetsuo. Like, well, he's like me, maybe he'll help. Maybe that manifestation was unintentional
Yeah.
from Takashi. He didn't mean to do it. It's just that that's what happened.
I think
Like Tetsuo's energy called to him, sort of thing.
yeah. Yeah, the doctor that's kind of the guy that's always in the background doing the experiments is Dr. Onishi.
Okay.
And I always thought it would have been made sense there to when they start examining him, did they identify him? And then like he would have a file or something there that would be something like Tetsuo's granddad file.
Yeah.
Something you could have made a little
Well,
visual connection there, but I don't think it's there. It obviously
well,
is in the manga because that information is out there. So.
it could have been, yeah, it could totally just been like what one line where it was like Tetsuo Shima, and him just be like Shima.
Yeah.
Just some sort of acknowledgement that there's a
And
recognition.
there could be something there in the movie that's
that
supposed
we
to,
missed
to be a key.
Yeah,
that I've missed. You kind of from there you kind of jump into this scene where Kaneda it meets Kay there at the police station, and there's all these gangs, and he just sees a girl. He wants a girl, so when they're turning them loose, he just tells the girl that's part of our group. She's coming with us.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a good like Predator.
Hey, 2. old man, I'm 26 or whatever he says.
Kind of like Predator 2
married.
or even some like the Terminator movies where they try to show like the police stations in the future, and it's just chaos and there's explosions and stuff going on. And I think there's a cubicle where there's like an officer that's just pounding some guy, just beating the tar out of him.
Recently, there was that situation up in New York where that guy tried to throw a grenade and it didn't work.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
that scene is in Akira because in that scene, a guy runs up and he's like, "For the revolution!" and he throws a grenade and it just kind of like fizzles out, and then the cops get on him and start beating him. when I rewatched that and I saw that, I was like, that was kind of prophetic. That was great.
Protesters in the future are just as dumb as ours, but I guess this is 7 years ago now in our world. So Tetsuo escapes the hospital where he's been examined and all this stuff. Gets a bite, goes back, and he is, because of this ongoing feud with the clowns, he is jumped by the clowns. They assault his girl, what's her name? Kaori.
Yeah.
And beat him up pretty bad. Kaori. Yeah. And he freaks out, and he starts having like sort of or I don't know what you call it. He starts seeing all kinds of crazy stuff when he freaks out. I don't know if he's hallucinating or if it's just more of the things being unlocked in his mind or whatever. Yeah. The army just appears again and takes him again.
I think he's starting to manifest. Yeah. Like his stress is making him manifest.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things I'm kind of going through pretty quickly.
they just show up and you take them.
Like, they
yoink.
do.
I like how they
like Matrix style.
I like how they completely ignore everybody else. It's just like they just show up, pick them up, and leave, and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Big old like super tractor trailer truck, like the thing in the in one of the Animatrix shorts.
Yeah,
that just shows up and just throws him in.
And the dude that steps in between him is totally just like an agent looking guy. He's your stereotypical American G-man.
Yeah, that's Colonel Shikishima.
No, I don't even think he has the name. Oh. It's just a foot soldier. He's in a black suit with a tie. He looks like a Men in Black guy and like black sunglasses. And he just stands in front of Kaneda.
I said something real quickly about the military wing. It's headed by the guy I just mentioned, Colonel Shikishima. He's kind of like the traditional army guy. He's the
Doesn't exactly look Japanese, but okay.
Yeah, no, it looks like Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah.
But Kaneda kind of joins the resistance with chasing after the girl K. Finds out that they're trying to expose the espers.
Mhm.
You get to the hospital where they've taken Tetsuo back to, and the espers there try to kill him, and they
And
fail.
I definitely had that question in the beginning. Was like, well, okay, well, knowing after you finish watching the film, you're like, okay, I can kind of get why they're like, hey, we need to stop him because we knew what happened to Akira and all that. But it seemed to me,
the
it seemed weird to me that they would just automatically say, well, we got to kill this guy.
the Kyoko is a little bit more like the clairvoyant, right? The girl,
Right.
and I think she sees the future and sees that, like, yeah, this is not going to go well. It's like we should kill him while we can.
Yeah.
Try to kill him, fail.
Try to kill him by manifesting his toys.
Yeah, yeah, big old bear.
I love it how they start off and they're these like little 1-inch figurines. You got
There's like
a bear, a bunny, and a car.
there's a car that looks like Speed Buggy from the old Hanna-Barbera stuff that like crawls
Yeah.
up onto the thing.
Yeah, it's a bipedal car. and they just become these huge monstrosities, and the bear has like a snake on his arm. Yeah, it's great. It's great beautiful visuals.
Yeah. And then this kind of unleashes whatever more of his power
Yeah.
needed to be unleashed. He tries to leave again, and like if there's guards that come out and try to stop him, and he just like he explodes them, like
that visual
splatters them all over the ceilings and the walls. And
the design of that scene where his power creates a sort of like a concussive bubble that pushes the guys up against the wall and the ceiling and just makes mincemeat out of them.
Yeah.
And they're just dripping from the walls and ceiling. And you see how the force like made these concave indents into the ceiling and the floor and the wall. It's a beautiful visual.
Yeah.
Beautiful for gory. Yeah.
Beautiful, very detailed.
Yeah.
That's one thing you
It
have to
sticks
kind of
with you.
recognize
That's one of
in anime is that you have to remember that this stuff is being hand drawn, and it is a work of art. And even if they're drawing something unpleasant, it's still kind of crazy the amount of detail that they can draw. Yeah. Kyoko, number 25, tells Tetsuo where Akira is, and that
and they do that because he threatens them.
Yeah.
Because he hears the name Akira and he's like, well, who or what is Akira? At one point he's asking, he's like, well, what is this thing you keep saying that's Akira? And they're like, well, he's more powerful than you. And he's like, I'm gonna get him.
Yeah. So he leaves, goes to the stadium where all this stuff is underground. It's underground, the big stadium in the city. Just basically like flies. He kind of does a. I always want to say he does like Neo. I guess Neo did like him,
right?
Because this was before Neo.
Well, and one of the themes that, or one of the relationships that is throughout the entire movie is Tetsuo is kind of like a younger brother to Kaneda.
Yeah.
And he kind of resents that. And there are a couple of times he says things like, you can't tell me what to do anymore. You don't always have to come and save me. So there's definitely a sense of being lesser, of being beneath Kaneda. And that's a part of what he's going through at this point is he's feeling powerful for like the first time in his life. And it's consuming him.
He's the bullied, weak guy who all of a sudden got power and does not know what to do. And even like he's not, when he kills all these guys at the hospital, it's like I don't think he's like maliciously trying to kill people. He's just like he's expressing his anger, and it's like it's just blowing people up.
Well, when he kills those guards, he's like, get away, and they explode. I don't think he meant to kill them. He just meant to like get them away. Like imagine if you push somebody, and when you push them, your arms just go through them.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what happened.
Yeah.
He just wasn't aware of what his power was. But not that if he did know, not that he probably still would have killed him.
Yeah.
He's that kind of guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
You get into multiple things kind of going on really quickly from this point on in the movie. The 25 and 26, which that's Takashi and Kyoko, the first boy that you see, and then the girl.
Right.
They kind of take over Kay and give her powers. Kay is the terrorist girl.
It's the girl that Kaneda's after.
Yeah. And then at the same time, Tetsuo is kind of out into the city. He goes back and kills the bartender, which is at the place where you kind of first meet everybody. He goes back to the bar, kills a biker there, a bartender there, and it's just he's kind of
and he steals the pills at the bar because that's where this whole pill thing comes around.
yeah,
The bar is where people go to get the pills. He's
yeah,
the pusher, and my thought was it was Tetsuo satisfying a part of his ego that he felt lesser again at the bar because the bartender had the pills and he lorded that over them. Like if you want the pills, you got to do this. I'm the boss here. Yeah, it's
and
all about him taking that power for himself.
it's the thing you see in 1,000 movies. It's like even in Lawnmower Man that
Yeah.
we talked about, where he goes back and everybody that mistreated him is now it's time for them to die.
You know, we are going to talk about as we mentioned, we're talking about like the legacy of Akira, and that was one of the when I was kind of writing stuff out at the end of me saying, well, this movie's kind of like I was like, wait a minute, Lawnmower Man. I mean, that's totally
Lawnmower Man,
totally
Chronicle. There's all kinds of stuff that we'll talk about on that one.
Yeah.
At the same time, the council is kind of funny. It's a good portrayal, I think, of like of a council, like a corrupt councilman. It's I forget what that guy's name is. He's like Nezu.
Okay.
Nezu, and they draw him
little short
like a
rat dude.
He's got like teeth like a rat.
Yeah.
They try to arrest the colonel,
mm-hmm.
and he overthrows them.
Yep.
So that power struggle kind of goes back and forth, but you don't mess with the military wing of your government if you're in the middle of turmoil because they win. And he does.
Yeah, the colonel at one point says they're going to institute martial law in the city.
Yeah. Kind of looks like it's a city where that probably should have happened 10 years ago.
Right.
We got plenty of those here. Stay out of current events. Tetsuo continues going to the stadium.
It is amazing how current a lot of the situations and themes and stuff felt when watching this for the first time in a few years.
You can go back and find an example of almost everything that happens in this movie is somewhere that happened in Seattle or Baltimore or Chicago or New York, and it's just
even, and one can ask cart before the horse kind of thing, like which was even the idea that they had the 2020 Tokyo had the 2020 Olympics was going to be in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Like I don't think they knew that back when he wrote this in the early 80s.
No, it's usually about 5 to 8 years ahead of time, I think, when those bids happen. I forget.
Right. And of course, I think one could probably make the argument that, well, the reason they were having it in Tokyo is because of Akira. Yeah. Like that could have been the entire reason to make that real.
But Tetsuo continues going to the stadium to try to get to where Akira is. The military is out. Kind of like the police. It really isn't police. It's kind of militarized at that point. I guess some of it's military, some of it's probably local police.
Well, it's kind of like the police. You see the police at the beginning, and they're kind of dealing with the street level gangs.
Yeah.
But then the military comes in because the police just get overwhelmed.
Yeah. And they're in the middle of all this. You just have people that are just burning down the city and rioting and stuff for whatever reason too. So.
And on the way to the stadium, the military is actively trying to stop Tetsuo, and he's doing stuff like just flinging tanks, and he destroys a bridge and kills all the Akira religious people.
The next thing is he gets attacked by the military on the way. It's crushing them, and all the zealots that thought he was going to be like their thing. They're on the bridge. Half of them die, but then even after that,
save me.
Even after that, like those people get killed. A whole other group are like. They start following him like he's Akira or something. So, and like I said, all the other rioters that are about looking for a reason to riot, I guess, start following him because they're like, maybe he'll lead us to the next Apple store or whatever.
There's definitely in this society, there's definitely a power vacuum that Tetsuo very quickly fills.
Yeah. He gets to the stadium, Tetsuo does, and he draws the unit that Akira is freezed in from underneath, just draws it up. It's like a big
huge cryosphere.
Yeah, draws it into the stadium. Then Kay shows up, who the Espers have kind of possessed with power, and she starts fighting Tetsuo.
I think it's more like a puppet.
Yeah.
She's just being controlled by them remotely, which is kind of a cool power.
Yeah. Not for Kay.
No, not for Kay. Does it harm Kay? It doesn't really hurt her, does it?
No, I don't think so. I guess maybe
that would have been a good again, maybe in the manga, but that would have been a really good visual if their power like burned her up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Then he opens the sphere, which is number 28, because like I said, the other three are 25, 26, 27, and Kira's 28. Finds out that it's all tubes with just part of Akira, and I guess really in the movie, that's the first time you find out that it's
a person. No, you find out it's a person before, but in the movie, that's the first time you find out that it's a person. Yeah.
but you find out that it's in pieces and not
Right.
like a frozen body.
Right. You
Like I
kind
was
of
kind of thinking.
what you're kind of expecting leading up to it is that it's just going to be like a corpse.
Yeah.
You know, you think like someone who's been frozen
Like a
in
like
a
a mummy.
cryosphere or a cryotube. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's not even just parts. Like it's sections of parts. Like
Yeah.
they're like his cerebral cortex.
Yeah, it's not even the whole brain. It's just
Yeah,
like
it's
a
just like
piece
a
of it.
sliver of the brain.
Yeah.
It's kind of in that movie The Cell with Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
They do that to a horse, right? Where they like use it's glass and they separate the horse with glass.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's just slides.
Yeah. Kaneda shows up.
He sets him up.
Yeah. Kaneda shows up and he's got like a little laser rifle and he starts fighting Tetsuo as well. And obviously can't beat him.
Yeah.
The army jumps in with I wrote down SOL. I don't remember what that stands for. It's like a giant
Soul is like the sun.
It's like a big satellite weapon that they have.
Yeah, they don't when they say activated, they don't say SOL, they say soul. I really think they just means like it's like the sun. They're directing the sun.
Yeah. And it shoots his beam down and like blows Tetsuo's arm off.
Yeah.
He just responds by flying into space and he crushes the soul,
which
of
is
SOL.
which is again is great. The way that it's just he goes up into space and it's silent.
Yeah,
it's wonderful. It's good visual. This is one of those. This is kind of the situation, the point in the movie where, as I was watching it, it's like, okay, he's this powerful because, okay, he can fly. Okay, that's fine. Wait, he can go into outer space and like just be fine.
The other image that I just conjured up, and we'll have to talk about it in that section when we get to it, is Brightburn.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Where the little kid is the evil Superman.
Mm-hmm.
That's really just like what it's like.
Oh yeah. Describing Tetsuo as an evil Superman is spot on. That's what
yeah.
he is. Yeah.
Yeah. He comes back from doing that and just like he's losing control of his own power and he starts to turn into the big blob.
He makes an arm. Well, first, he makes an arm with junk.
I'm kind of jumping over. Like he makes the arm. He kind of sits on like a little throne, and his girlfriend that got beat up comes and talks to him, and that's when he starts to kind of spread out from the chair, and just starts to turn into this big blob.
Now, when he starts to manifest as this blob, he's not doing it intentionally. This is something that his body is doing completely out of his control.
Which kind of ties back to that whole backstory at the beginning that explosion was caused by Akira just lost control.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't trying to blow up the city, I don't think. It was just the power manifest, and then once it gets to a certain point, it runs wild. And this is it happening again.
Yeah. I don't know if this would be better talked about in the theme section, but I've always taken it that like I don't think Tetsuo followed Akira's exact trajectory. Like I don't think Akira became obviously because they had his body, but I don't think he became that big blob that Tetsuo became. He got to a point of power to where he almost like transcended, and that transcendence created the explosion, and it left his body. And they tried to figure out, hey, well, what was special about the body, and they couldn't figure anything out.
I think that Tetsuo and Akira are exactly the same thing. It's just that it's happening again. And while it's here, it's just going to keep cycling. I think it's. Okay. I definitely had that thought watching it.
You expect that the event that happened with Akira, he did do the big baby blob
almost the exact same thing. He might not have turned into a wire thing with guts and stuff running all over the place because that's pretty horrific looking. But it might be what happened. They were experimenting on him in the past.
Gets bigger and bigger, and
then
we find
the guy in Big Trouble in Little China. When the guy gets mad in the hallway and he starts trying to puff himself up and he gets.
I've never seen that movie.
You've never seen Big Trouble in Little China? Good Lord. You need to pause and watch that.
Right.
There's a guy who can puff himself up and become really powerful as one of the three sort of ninja guys in it. And when he gets really mad when he sees one of his friend or his boss get killed, I forget which one. He starts doing it and he just keeps swelling up and there's steam coming out of his nose and then he just
I've got that visual in my head. I'm
sure you've seen that clip, but that's completely how kind of how I imagine all that going. But anyway, he loses control, starts to turn into the blob. His girlfriend Kaori is there, or Kaori, starts to crush her. And starts to crush Kanata as well. They just kind of get drawn in, and they're just getting squished by this thing.
Kanata, help Kaori! I can feel her pain as he's also being crushed. I'm like, what do you expected to do, dude?
And it doesn't get Kanata, but it does. It just pops Kaori.
Kaori, pops like a tick. That I do like this part of the movie because one of the things it shows you the conflict between Tetsuo and Kaneda really before this comes to a head where you see the dynamic in their relationship where Tetsuo resents Kaneda for being the leader of their group essentially.
Yeah.
But when it comes time when the rubber meets the road, so to speak, Tetsuo recognizes Kaneda's leadership over him and he bows to it. Like even when in insurmountable odds, he's looking to Kaneda, and it's great.
It's true in nature.
Yeah.
An alpha is an alpha, and a beta is a beta.
Yeah.
You try to put a beta in charge of a packet, an alpha will
he turns into a giant baby,
and an alpha will come and fix the problem.
Yeah. And the way that I absolutely love the characterization for Kaneda, how even while he's seemingly trying to kill Tetsuo, he's really trying to help him.
Yeah,
it's great. It's wonderful.
And not scared of it at all. I mean,
no,
his friend is like turning into this giant blob, and like there's lasers coming in from space, and he's just like
running toward him.
Where's my gun? It's like, oh, it's out of charge. It's like I need to charge my rifle. It's like that's the difference between an alpha and a beta.
Mm-hmm.
The espers,
and the espers we find out partially during all this is that the medicines that they're taking, the whole thing that with the espers is they're getting medicated so that they don't become this like,
and that's what they were doing to Tetsuo.
So they don't manifest like Akira did.
Tetsuo at the lab is they were giving him medicine to try to control him, not trying to like draw this power out of him. And
right.
Once he gets hit, that's why they keep trying to keep him from escaping, is because they need to keep him medicated so that this doesn't happen, because they still don't know why it happens. He gets loose, and that's when it goes out of control. And
so come back to your daycare and like those shriveled old kids. Yeah.
But the espers, I wrote down that they awaken Akira. I guess it's the power of Akira is just awakening in Tetsuo.
They show up, and the way I take it is they called Akira.
Yeah.
They whatever happened to Akira, wherever he went, they called out to him and said, "Hey, we need your help," and he showed up.
And it starts like basically the singularity.
Mm-hmm.
I put down it's like almost like an event horizon,
mm-hmm.
like almost like a black hole into a new dimension. That starts to draw in Tetsuo and Kaneda, and they go in. The espers go in to rescue Kaneda and to keep Tetsuo there so he doesn't get back out.
I love the part of that where Takashi is like, "Hey, Tetsuo gets consumed by the event horizon, I guess you could call it." Yeah. He gets consumed by it, and he's like, "Oh, I got to go help him." And Masura and Kyoko are like, "What are you doing? You're not powerful enough." And he's like, "I've got to try." And they're like, "Well, if we all go, maybe together we can do it."
It seemed like they could have thought of that before. But...
right. Well, one of the things, I'll just mention this here real quick because not a lot to say about it. One of the differences between the original dub and the 2001 version, I think it's Pioneer dub, was that they had like children for the Masaru, Takashi, and Kyoko. They had children do their voices. In the original dub, I remember Masaru having like almost like an older man, gravelly kind of voice, and I remember I didn't know if they were old people who looked like children or the children who looked like old people.
Yeah.
They're really children that look like old people but don't age.
I always assumed by the way they acted and the way they talked. Of course, I saw it with kids' voices. I never saw the other voice version, but that they were kids that were just like showing like age because they were stressed out from all the examinations and experiments and stuff like that. But
and being that the time, how much time had passed, my assumption is that whatever they're doing to them to keeping their powers from manifesting fully is keeping them young in body, like it's preventing them from growing, from going into puberty or something.
They're still kid sized.
Yeah, they're still like 7-8 years old. They're real small, real young looking, except their skin's all gross.
But this, whatever you want to call it, event horizon singularity destroys most of Neo Tokyo, and then it collapses into the other dimension, I guess is the way to say that. It just kind of goes through, keeps Tetsuo and the espers there. And
you do who was the scientist?
Dr. Onishi.
Dr. Onishi. During this, one of the things Dr. Onishi does throughout the film is he's watching these patterns, these like aura patterns, and Tetsuo's aura pattern like goes into alignment with Akira's aura pattern. That's how I figured it out. And at that point, that was like he was like, "It's happening again."
Yeah. Yeah, like
And then he
Tetsuo,
dies. They all die.
And you hear the Esper's voices that suggest they've created another universe and they've
Mhm.
transcended the bounds of humanity and
Yeah.
whatever other things Neil deGrasse Tyson would say.
I've
But
I've always wondered how much of that is if any of that is kind of like translation, being lost in translation or being confused in translation.
I
I
wouldn't be
don't know.
surprised if
Yeah,
we didn't put our spin on it.
yeah,
But
because it's very it's very much like science babble, you know.
yeah, yeah, that's the end of the movie. I mean, they're Kaneda, K,
They teleport them out of the
yeah,
event horizon, like to
and
the edge of the city,
even the
essentially.
Colonel,
Yeah,
the Colonel gets
yeah.
they take him
Which
out
I'm
and kind of
surprised.
drop him down.
I thought he was when Calorie died. You thought for sure he was dead, but
Yeah,
no.
we'll get into it when we get into themes.
Yeah, yeah,
Shikishima's he's the hero.
yeah. Okay.
But that's
But
the
you have the Espers are gone, Akira's gone, Tetsuo's gone,
yeah
and you at one point during all this you hear Tetsuo's go, "I am Tetsuo."
yeah
Yeah.
yeah. So kind of a not something I don't think they were intending to be like a there'll be a sequel or an extended thing, but I guess they
Being that all of the Espers are gone, I think it's done. Like
yeah
that's it.
yeah
That this was the if they ever did anything else, it would be like, oh, let's make a sequel and show you what happened with Akira.
or I think the probably easier sequel to write would be how to keep them from coming back through their from their dimension,
Right.
which was Stranger Things.
Right.
Yeah, that's the plot of this. There's
Yeah.
a lot more to talk about with it, but I think for this section we'll
Yeah, let's go ahead and stop it there. Everything else I could think of I wanted to say would be something I would bring up in themes
yeah
and whatnot.
yeah.
And we're trying to keep this a little tighter than usual.
So there's the plot.
All right. We'll be back where we're going to talk about the manga.
Yeah, and about
Yep.
the creator Katsuhiro Otomo. We'll be able to say that in one breath at some point.
There you go.